Okay, so meter billing. So of course, you are a few levels higher now. So we're gonna go a bit deeper on billing instead of just the first slide that I have, which was just about, how to set up the billing plans and, you know, how they work. So I want to go a little bit into actually how do you emit these meters from the managed app into our API, so we can, receive those units that we talked before, so we can charge your customers. And here is an example of a meter. So you see is an HTTP request to an endpoint, right? There is some access and authentication that you need to have in order to emit this meter. And you see that this meter is fairly simple, right? You don't have to have a VM for this. You can have a Azure function to do this or some container. So, this is something that could be triggered or sent by any regular HTTP code. Um, so it consists of, 5 different properties. The resource ID, which is the resource that you use for that meter, how many of these units were consumed. And then you remember that dimension or that ID that you need to have. That will be this dimension identifier. And when this meter happened, right? So if you send a meter now and you send another one, the last one wins. So and then also you need to have a plan ID, which is associated uh, with this meter, right? So there's a plan, with an offer and a plan and a dimension. So those parameters all you need to be sent, they need to be sent. So our API can allocate those units in the proper customer against the proper customer. When the meter is accepted, so you get a 200. You get a message back, and it will let you know that this was being registered in our system. So that's and then this is an example here of how it looks. That response on that meter that was emitted. Okay. And then if you need to send a batch of these meters, right? So like I said, you could send it at midnight instead of like keep emitting this all at once. You could actually batch them up. So you have an array here of an array of the meters, and you can put it together, and then you get a result of each one of them. So, okay. If you're doing this inside a VM, for example, you may, here's a cool code snippet on how do you get the token from the VM, so you can then emit those meters. So I just placed this slide here as a reference to you, but technically you need a management token that will be sent, and this is a PowerShell script, which will be used to then get a token. There's a metadata that is returned. The metadata then is used to build a payload, just like I showed you initially. And then that metadata is sent to the URL for the marketplace. In this example, there's a 5 minutes meter data emitted, and this will be a post of that meter. So you see that I have like an invoke request, and this is the API. It's a post here, and then these are the headers that are built in this step here. And then of course you have the token. So you follow this, everything here is required. So if you backtrack this, you see exactly what things are needed. And the link to the example is here. So if you need more information about it, there is a very cool example there. We do have an API that we are building now. It's also on the same link before, but we have a set of API, but client libraries that you can actually use against our API. And here's an example of 4 of the methods in C# that you can use to do the same work that we did in the slide before. So, and we're now supporting other languages, but this is an example here on C#. It's definitely much better than doing this.